Probably one of the craziest 48 to 72-hour stretches we have on the betting calendar. Teams playing, they win, they play the next day. If you don't win, well, your season is likely done. Luckily for you, Mark Zinno and I are here to help you sort it out. And yes, I am
That
informed that is
we
Mark Zinno's
are never
second
done.
cup of coffee. No, we are never done. We will be here until the end
Never.
of time. Don't forget about the Selection Sunday special that you and I have been asked to host, by the way, here at WagerTalk. Live reaction to the bracket on
Yeah.
Sunday.
I would have to tell you, use that QR code there, and it'll get you a link right to the show on Sunday. The powers that be at Wager Talk, apparently they're taking note of the excellent work that we're doing here, and they seem to want to thrust more responsibility on us for the same amount of pay, which I ostensibly
Now
object
you're
to across the board. That's number one. Number two, I don't really know that they watch this show that often enough to know how off the rails we can get, that they would put us in the driver's seat for some level of show of notoriety. So, yeah, well,
that's
there's
what
also
I
that.
figured.
Yeah, everybody
Based
else
on
said
Joe,
no. And the funny part is
I,
like let's peel back the curtain here. They asked us to do this, and BP and I are like not jumping up to say yes, right? And we both like incidentally default to each other. Well, if BP does it, I'll do it. Well, if Zinno does it, I'll do it. And then they just decided to force us to do it, and we both are like, well, I didn't agree to this, and I didn't agree. I mean, it's just, you know what? You get what you pay for. And since you paid nothing, you're going to get nothing.
no, I'm looking forward to it. And based on the fact that Joe Ranieri was moderately, sort of, kind of nice in the Slack, I assume that he just really wanted someone else to host, so it wouldn't be him. So I am happy to help Joe out, and we are going to be happy to be with you on Sunday evening. God bless Steve Merrill, Adam Trigger,
For
and Rob
yourself.
Vino, all of whom will join
Happy would
us
not
on
be
that
the word I
program.
would use, but speak for yourself. But sure, we'll go with happy for now.
Okay. Let's talk about some games on Thursday, Mark, because that
By the
is,
way, real
after
quick,
all,
do
what
you
we are
think
here
that
to do.
Rob Vino and Steve Merrill know they're going to get made fun of to their face during the show?
I like Steve Merrill and Rob Vino. What
I like
are you
Steve
gonna
Merrill
do?
too.
Do you even
I
know
like
them?
Trigger.
Do you even
I
know
make
them?
fun of him to his face.
You make fun of
The first
me
thing is,
too. Stay tuned.
Vino, change your last name. Okay, it sounds too much like Zinno. Okay, you need to be like away from me.
Zinno, Vino, real Italian flair on Sunday. I should be busting out the meat to balls, right? I'm sorry if that was
I'll bring the
offensive.
pasta. All right, let's get to the picks.
Okay. All right, Creighton and DePaul. I read on Twitter yesterday, that makes me laugh, actually, one of the few people who has good
Not me.
tweets on that website, tweeted, if DePaul wins the Big East tournament, I will drink an entire bottle of Malort. If you know what Malort is, well, you know
Nope.
that is quite the threat.
It's
It's
the Mad
popular
Dog
in Chicago.
2020 of this generation, right?
It tastes like motor oil. Somebody was telling me about it. I'm like, I'll do a shot of that. And I was like, my God, this tastes like motor oil. This is horrible. Know what it is? It's more like,
Motor oil heavy.
did you ever do a shot of liquid cocaine back in the day? That shot, or the Three Wise Men, those really like awful shots that had
Yes.
rumplements in them. This is
Yes.
kind of along those lines where you just drink it. You're like, oh,
Jägermeister.
what have I done? Yes. You're like, what have I done? It's very
Yeah.
popular in Chicago.
Oh,
DePaul is in Chicago. DePaul is
okay.
playing Creighton. We think that, or at least you think here for your half of the double play, Creighton is going to make DePaul feel like they have drank a bottle of Malort.
I've never had Malort. Again, Mad Dog 2020 was more of my for those who are old enough to know what that was. That was quite awful, but it was like $6 a bottle, and it was the only alcohol you could get as an 18-year-old. So beyond that, look, it's kind of fortunate here the way the seeding worked out. If you kind of look at the way St. John's, who's the 1 seed, Creighton is the 2 seed. St. John's gets Butler, and Creighton gets DePaul. Somehow DePaul finished higher up in the seeding than Butler did. I think due to head-to-head or whatever it was. I don't know, but nonetheless, this is an easier matchup for Creighton than Butler would have been. And just so you know, Butler is ranked 75th in KenPom. DePaul is ranked 122nd. Like, there's a pretty substantial gap between those two teams. That said, Creighton's going to wax this team. I have very little hesitation about laying the 11.5 here. I'm going to need the full 40 minutes to do it. I'm not going to cut the game in half, but this may be tight early or whatever, or close, but Creighton's going to pull away. The only way Creighton doesn't cover this is if they pull up so late and they leave the back door open for some garbage stuff to happen. There is no answer that DePaul has for Ryan Kalbrenner inside. The guy's going to drop 20 tonight if you're into the player prop market. That should be easy. He's going to eat these guys. He's going to take these kids' lunch money. So I have very little concerns here. I think Creighton is the second best team in the Big East by margin. And when it all comes down to it, I look at Creighton as a team here that maybe the one team that is able to upset St. John's because they have such good shooting and because they can make a ton of threes. And that ultimately could be the difference for them. So, yeah, all that said, this is a spot here where I look at Creighton to be able to create some real distance. I'll lay the 11.5 with the Blue Jays.
Really embarrassing to be in college and have your lunch money taken, I think.
I would agree.
Usually, doesn't that stop in like fourth, fifth grade or something like that? I don't know. But
Yeah.
regardless, Mark Zinno, he likes Creighton. If you like Creighton, do us a favor. Smash that like button. Take the Blue Jays, lay the 11.5, the man says. Maybe do a shot of Malort afterwards to celebrate. We will go back to the Big East in a little bit for our best bet segment, but I am going to take you late night to the Big 12 and talk about Kansas, Arizona. Now, if you caught me on WagerTalk today, yesterday, and I know you didn't, Mark, but you did do a show with Adam Trigger and
I like
where
my
we
brain
talked about
cells.
Kansas yesterday in the afternoon.
I don't watch that
And
show.
I am going to reiterate something I said multiple times yesterday. I am not a believer in Kansas making a run in this Big 12 tournament. Why? Well, because it would require them winning 4 games in 4 days. And guess what? They have not won 4 Big 12 games in a row this entire season. Quite remarkable to say about a Bill Self coach team. As a matter of fact, the last and only time they won 3 straight conference games was January 5th through the 11th. And that win streak was against the bottom of the league. Cincinnati, Arizona State, and I believe UCF, Zinno, were the 3 victims during that particular streak, if memory serves me
That
correct.
is correct.
Okay, well, guess what? Kansas has now won back-to-back games. They won last night. I said to fade them last night, and that was turned out to be a good thing to do because Kansas did not cover the number against UCF in the second round Big 12 tournament matchup. Matter of fact, they had to go to overtime as double-digit favorites in that one. Zinno, this is the first time under Self Kansas is not a top 4 seed in the Big 12 tournament. This is just not a great basketball team. And I was shocked, as were you, that this line against Arizona opened as a pick 'em. Not only does Arizona have the rest edge, but Kansas had to go to overtime last night. And I'm not going to overthink things. I'm playing Arizona on the money line. This is a revenge spot for the Wildcats. Okay, I mentioned Kansas has won 2 in a row. The first one was the regular season finale against this Arizona team, but that was in Lawrence. I just think Arizona is a better team. They have a rest edge, a notable rest edge. Why would you just not play that? You can get the money line minus 125 at DraftKings, guys. That's how I would play this one. Better team, rest edge. It's that simple. Thoughts?
Is it really? Is it really that simple?
I think it is.
I would, Brian Power, I would seldom disagree with you. Yeah, this is it. I mean, I think there's a wider gap between these two teams. I mean, do you have any concern? My only thing that gave it pause is the game technically is in Kansas City, which is next to Kansas, which is where Jayhawks are, which is in Kansas. So there could be some level of sort of home court here, but I mean, Arizona's better on both ends of the floor.
I think Arizona's a top 10 team. I mean, Kansas is a top 20 team, but again, man, I mean,
Are they really?
everything I said about Kansas, I felt yesterday before the game, I felt played out watching them. I mean, they gave up they could not get stops against UCF at all. They were they had brain dead possessions on offense.
Brain dead
Revenge
possession.
angle. Yeah, that's not good when you're trying to win a basketball game to go brain dead. So there you go. Arizona, my half the double play to go along with Creighton from Mark Zinno. Mark, we have been talking about this quite a bit over the last couple weeks. Of course, go ahead, click subscribe if you already haven't done so, guys. We appreciate your support here on
Yep.
WagerTalk TV. But another way you could show your support to Mark and I specifically is by taking advantage of the 2-for-1 March Madness special that Mark and I we asked the powers that be to extend this through Selection Sunday. It's very simple. You get every single play I release, every single play Mark releases in college basketball from now, the time you buy it, until all the way through the national championship game.
Why is this important? Why is this important?
I'll tell you.
Hey, stop the selling for a minute. They get it. Tell you why this is important. Because we have day games going on today, and day games that you and I both like. And if you buy the package, once we release it and send it out into the ethos, okay, you will get it automatically an email blast. So you can get the most accurate lines, the most up-to-date information of when we're putting the play in and not have to worry about line movement and everything else. So like last night when I sent out my play, even though I hit the wrong button, nonetheless, you get it immediately. So you can jump in as soon as you get it. So yeah.
I was going to say two other things.
Okay.
Number one, it costs you normally $179 for one of us. We're giving you both of us for $198. That's a very good deal. Also,
Good
and I know you love this part, Mark, this record that you and I have compiled, I think it's something to be damn proud of, okay? Over the last 30 days, guys, Mark Zinno and I are a combined 92 and 45 overall. In college basketball, we're 79 and 33.
Is that good?
That's very good. That's number one and
Okay.
number two overall. And yes, Mark, you are number one and I am number two. I'm trying to
Nobody's
catch you.
closer.
I am a little bit closer today over the last 30. It is just a little bit. You're ahead of me. You're 46 and 22 the last 30 days. I'm 46
Gone
and
1-1 the
23.
last 2 days. This was not Sparta. It was supposed to be Sparta last night, but they came up 3 points short. Damn Spartans, Norfolk State, dumbasses.
Hey, you got Ark. You beat the line move on Ark. I'm surprised you're not burying your buddy Coach Cal, who yesterday.
Oh, yeah, well, we did that yesterday. I mean, we did that show with Adam Trigger yesterday. Yeah, look at that. Names across the board. And look at that. Nobody up there put 55 picks in a week. Wow. See how easy it is to stay at the top of the leaderboard when you don't put 55 picks in a week? Good job.
They may have done that. They just didn't do well by doing it.
Exactly. Exactly the point.
Okay.
Stop spraying the board. Okay. There you go. It's not a Price is Right game where you just punch as many things as possible and see what, if you pull out a winner. Like, that's not how this goes. Anyway,
That works.
what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the Arkansas game. Man, I mean, Coach Cal, he's a disgrace to all Italians. I want him out of the group. I want him out. Joe Ranieri, help me out. I want Cal out. And when I found out after the fact, because I wasn't watching, I was like following along online with the game, but I wasn't watching it. When you told me after the fact that he intentionally told his player to miss the free throw when they were up 3 instead of making it a 4.2 possession game, to miss it, which is coaching malpractice, he's out. They should have never. They were up by 20 with 17 minutes left in the game and blew it. They should have easily covered every number in that game. And yes, Trig was right. I was the only person who was mad about beating the line movement and getting a better number and covering and winning. I was pissed off yesterday because
you wanted everybody to win.
Yes, people were hitting me up, and I kept telling me, I think this is playable to -5. I think it's playable to -5. That's why I make the number. I would play it to -5, and it should have been playable to -5. Anybody who got 4.5 or 5 got screwed. The 3.5's got okay. The 4.5's got a push, and the 3's like me, who really beat the line movement, were okay with it too. But that was a disgrace, man. Everybody should have covered. Everybody should have cashed a ticket on that thing.
With John Calipari out of the tribe, so to speak, per your order, can I be an honorary Italian then? Can I take his spot here? I feel, Ranieri, Zinno, we got Vino on Sunday. I'm surrounded. I should be, honorary.
Paurini?
Okay. Didn't even prep him to be ready for that, and I knew I was going to get that answer. I was like, let me see if I can get that answer out of him, and I did. Well, I'll tell you what. Do I know how this show works or not? I say something, you get kicked in the ass.
Paurini. That's what we'll call you. You'll be Paurini. There you go.
Paurini. Okay, there we go. I kind of had a no sweat play in college basketball. Quinnipiac taking care of Ryder. I barely know her. There you go. Quinnipiac moves on.
You were dying to make that joke again.
I don't think I'd made it on air yet. I think I'd only made it to you over the phone several times. Did take a loss in soccer yesterday. I'll tell you what, soccer is sort of my safe haven from you. I joke about this a lot. And when something goes terribly wrong in soccer, I often think, thank God Mark Zinno doesn't bet soccer. So Club Bruges, who I bet +1 against Aston Villa. By the way, they closed +0.5. Yes, it's in Belgium.
Is that in Belgium? Okay. In Brussels?
Yes. Yes.
I only know that because of Austin Powers. Summers in Bruges. We used to wear meat helmets from Dr. Evil.
Belgium's a fun place. We went there a few years ago.
You went to Belgium?
Yes. It's a great drinking, great place to drink.
I mean, anything in the Vienna, Austria, Belgium area is full of, high alcohol content beer.
Mrs. Power was on assignment. All right. Anyway, I had a point in there. Oh, yeah. I lost because Bruges got a red card in the 16th minute. And I thought to myself, if Mark Zinno ever bet soccer and his side got a red card, the phone call that would follow, I don't think the world is ready for that. So I apologize
No,
for that. 1-1 overall, but we won this
hey,
college
we're going to
basketball.
start betting World Cup when it comes around next year, buddy.
So I don't have a safe haven anymore.
Not for the 3 weeks of World Cup. No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start
And we'll go
preparing
back.
for
Then
that.
I'll go back to listening to your. Hi, I'd like Real Madrid minus 1.75 over 3. Just the stupid lines for soccer, just dumb.
Pronounced Real. That's okay.
No, it's
Now I
real.
know how you know how to pronounce St.
REAL is
John.
real.
I know.
REAL is real. It always will be real. Okay.
I know. I look. I think we can all agree how to
Real
pronounce
love.
St. John's
I'm
and
searching
Butler.
for real love.
We're
Someone
searching
to
for a
set
first
my
half
heart
line
free.
with
Real
Butler.
love. Yeah.
We like the first time with. This is an early tip, guys. You talk about a
Mhm.
reason to watch. Okay, then I'll see again. That's not fair, right there. I don't. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Simply try to provide a service. Okay.
Later on when you tell me I got to go for a walk, I'm going to think of that.
Don't like that. I'm gonna go for a run now. All right. Anyway, Butler.
You're literally going to change your whole physical regimen. I'm going to start running now, just so I don't say I have to go for a walk, and then Joe's going to find some weird run thing.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm not gonna change it too much. All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
Butler in the first half. We like him plus 7.5 against St. John's. Look, St. John's was the class of the Big East. We understand that. But Butler kind of, and you follow this conference very closely, Mark. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what I'm about to say. Butler matches up well with St. John's. I cashed Butler plus the points at home a couple weeks ago against St. John's. Then in the first meeting, I believe they were winning at halftime. So
that
it's a
was
situation where Butler has
that
played St.
was the
John's very
game.
tough in the first half, twice.
That was
And
the
we're gonna
game that I don't know if you've seen the online speech from Pitino, like firing up his troops in the locker room. That was the game where that speech is from, where St. John's was trailing by 6 at half at home, and he was talking about adversity and this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. And they came out and steamrolled him in the second half and came back and won the game.
he's a proud
Shooting
Italian, right? You like him.
4.8% from 3-point range in that game, St. John's did, and they won it.
That is their sort of bugaboo, if you will, their anchor. That they are not a good 3-point shooting team, St. John's. So let's cut the game in half and take the points with Butler because hey, they've covered the first half number twice
Yeah.
against St. John's, and we think they can do it again.
I mean, again, I don't think you come out expecting St. John's to shoot the lights out, right? Like, I mean, that's just they're not a very good shooting team. It's not anything. I mean, they're 10th out of 11 teams in effective field goal percentage. What does that tell you? They're dead last in 3-point shooting, as we just talked about. They're 9th in 2-point shooting. This is not a very good shooting team. What they do well, okay, is grind you into the ground defensively, force you to miss a ton of shots. And they're a very good rebounding team. That's the other part. I mean, they dominate inside. They're number one in offensive rebound rate. And they are very good at making the easy shots and the easy layups. So, it's not a great free throw shooting team either. They're 10th in the league in free throw shooting out of 11 teams. So I think and we've seen this game script from St. John's before here, BP, where they're out of the gate slow. It's tight in the first half, and then they just kind of wear you down over 40 minutes with their defense. You make a ton of mistakes, and they take advantage of it all, and they end up pulling away and covering a bigger number here. But we're getting a 3-possession lead in the first half. Butler has to be really bad. Like, this is where Butler only scores like 23 points, and St. John scores 33, and that's how they cover this first half number, right? If Butler gets to 26, 27, which is what Seton Hall didn't do yesterday, in the first half, they should be good. I don't envision St. John's getting much past 33, 35, the way their game scripts go. So those are kind of the numbers. But yeah, I think we get a favorable number here at 7.5 for a 12.5-point spread for the game. Butler first half plus the points.
Clarify something for the commenters. Butler actually did not cover the first half line in the second meeting, but they were only down by 6 at halftime of that. So they obviously, if you're only down by 6 today at half, that's a win on Butler. So speaking of all you commenters, thank you for your support each and every day. We already told you to smash that like button. Feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on any of the plays Mark and I shared with you on today's show. Please comment down below with whatever else you may be betting on this fine Thursday. Wall to wall,
and then don't forget
college
Sunday.
hoops to action. And then do not forget Sunday right there. You can scan that QR code. It'll take you right to us on Sunday. Live instant reaction to the NCAA tournament bracket, hosted by Mark Zinno and myself. If you have ever been sitting around thinking to
got that
yourself,
backwards.
I would what?
Hosted by Brian Power and Mark Zinno. I don't want to sit in the one chair. I want you to do all the talking. I don't get paid by the word.
Who in the hell thinks I'm going to do all the talking with you? Okay, I was about, as a matter of fact, to say,
Adam
if you have
Trigg was
ever
on the
been
show.
sitting,
All you have to do is say, "Hey, Trigg, what do you think?" And then we could sit back for 20 minutes and just wait. Like I could literally do my task. Trigg could break down the most nonsensical game between Merrimack and Sacred Heart, and I could get my
that's
taxes
a
done.
tournament game. I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to be a tournament game. Merrimack and Sacred Heart.
Probably not, but you get the point.
I don't think the MAC is a 2-bid league this year. Just I'm going to go out on a limb there. That's my first reaction to the bracket. But if you've ever sat and thought to yourself, what would Mark Zinno say about this bracket? You're going to get the opportunity to find out. WagerTalk TV.
By the way, I forgot to mention, and I should mention, I have a 5% play up. Forgot to mention that. WT.buzz/MZ.
There you go. Head on over.
I mean, I just on an 8-1 5% play run, by the way. So
that's very impressive.
Yeah. 5% play, WT.buzz/MZ.
2 plays for Thursday. WT.buzz/BP. You can get a both $29.
It's not as cool as what I have.
On a nice 34-13 run in college hoops. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of that.
Should be.
I'm very proud of this show. You're proud of this show.
Yeah.
I love a sloppy parlor, yeah.
That was a good show.
Chances high or low.
Can I interest you in a Europa League pick today?
Watch my winnings grow.
Right.
The Europa Conference League?
No.
Mark Zinno cashes tickets.
We'll wait till the Premier League on Saturday.
Always got my